I got an emulator one day, and it's got everything on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, why still sell these?
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of really good reasons. One of the most important ones is just the community that owning like physical stuff brings, because it like kind of like I collect video games, Brett collects video
absolutely.
games, and then we kind of have a bond because of that, and like we have customers who collect and like to own the real physical thing, and so the collectability of it is one huge aspect that comes from also being a community, because that means multiple people want them.
And it's about like, you know, when you get the game, and if you get the physical one, you can share that with your friends. It's almost like the old days, like getting a comic book or something like that. You'd be able to, hey, I just read this awesome thing, I just watched this awesome movie. Physical media, you can swap and trade with your friends. Like maybe he has a game that I've never played, and I have a game he never plays. So like, let's trade, and then we can do that kind of thing. With digital media, it's not quite possible, because it's like well, you can wait for it to go on sale, or I can email you the emulator, or like it's like, and here's the ROM that goes with it. It's not as satisfying as being like, here's my copy of, I don't know, like Earthbound. Can I borrow your copy of Chrono Trigger? And then like that way we can experience that game.
Now it's still these video games. Some of them are still selling for. I'm looking at some of them, and they're selling for like the same price they sold back in the 90s.
Yeah, well, the funny part about that too is those are the cheap ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when you look at like collectability of things, like of true collectibles, not just like limited edition systems and all that, you know, like. A very like a lower to mid-range game is $60. Like I used to think that was expensive, and then I bought a $100 game, and then I bought a $500 game, and then I paid $1,000 for a game, and then I paid way more money than I want to say on camera.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh well, like that's a true rarity right there, and I think that's also what kind of demands more money for something, is when something truly is rare and at that point now collectible, because it has like this like almost mystique to it. So
you have on the wall over here one of the Nintendo Championship, like a picture. When you go to these, like I'm sure you've been to like conventions or something, when that game is there, are people gathered around taking pictures and stuff? Or
it's really funny how the hobbies kind of changed. When I used to go to conventions and people would see like the Nintendo World Championships cartridges, people would gravitate towards them. Nowadays it's kind of like, it's still really cool, but everybody knows about it. So
okay, now they know. Okay.
But the funny thing about that little poster over there is that's probably the most expensive piece of paper I've ever bought.
What? How so?
Well, it's like, you think it's just a printed piece of paper, but that's actually from Universal Studios back in the 90s.
Wow.
It was only $100 is what I paid for it, but for a flyer, that's a lot of money for.
It is.
Like,
wow.
Just sits on a wall, you know?
Yeah. And so I've seen a lot of, I just while I've been here, maybe like some parents and kids in here too buying some of these. Do you see like parents getting their kids into these older games?
Yeah. I think that's really fun to see that.
Those are actually some of my favorite customers, is because it's like, because it's very like from their perspective, it is these archaeological sightings where it's just like they'll be like, that's a Sega 32X, and it's just like, or like one kid is just like, oh, you don't know what this is? This is the Game Boy Advance SP. And then like for like me and him, we're like, we were there when it was fresh. But for them, they were born like in 2010, so like they see a Game Boy Advance SP. And it's like that scene in Back to the Future where it's like, you gotta use your hands. It's like a baby's toy. It's like there's like a little bit of a generational gap, which is kind of funny. I mean, we've been called old men a few times.
It's just gonna get worse.
It's just gonna get worse. But I'm proud to be able to say like that. First of all, you're only as old as you feel. But at the same time, it is nice to be able to live through these and experience it like through the eyes of like these children too. Yeah.
Hey, it's Brian from ResultsNutrition.com. Want to give you an amazing deal on the Cleanse Lean. It's our #1 selling product. Enter Cleanse50 at checkout and save 50% on the Cleanse Lean. You got to try it.
So now we got Jasper here. It's seems like a mascot of the store.
He really is, actually.
and that's like all goes into like
treats.
owning your own business here, and that's a big part of this, is that you own your own business doing this.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably some kids out there watching this, or adults that would love to do something like this. Why do you think that you were able to do it whereas other people aren't?
Ooh, I'm stupid stubborn. And I think with the stubbornness it comes a lot of like bad things, but also a lot of good things. It's like I know I want something, and so I'm going to work my butt off to get it. And I've been really fortunate in my life that I was taught a lot of skills on how to set goals and kind of work towards those goals and know what a real goal is versus just kind of an illusion. But yeah, I think that's one of the biggest tips I can actually give to anybody. It doesn't matter what you want to do, whether that's opening a business or getting a dream job or, you know, a certain income, is making sure you're setting goals for yourself, because you don't want to become stagnant. And once I learned that, that's how I knew how to work towards certain things. And you know, it took a few years. It took me about 5-6 years to like finally feel comfortable to open the store. But
yeah, tell me about that, because I was just about to ask you, from the idea of I want to do this to the day that the doors were open, there's a lot that goes on.
Yes. Yeah, very much so. So I still remember I had just gone through a pretty bad breakup, and I was like, man, what do I want to do with my life? I was like, woe is me. And I'm like, you know, maybe I want to open a video game store. And so, you know, after kind of getting over things, I started planning it out. So like, what do I need to open a video game store? I had to kind of write down all the things, you know. I need games. And so I'm like, well, I know how to do that. I know how to go out and look for games. And that was kind of where a lot of the work came in, is because there was a lot of hustle that had to go into it, and meeting connections and meeting people that would be willing to sell me stuff. And then some of the connections that I met really early on didn't pan out right away, but 5 years later, they're like, hey, I still have this stuff. Do you want to, you know, buy it? I'm like, yeah, sure. And so I think just kind of getting out there and doing it is really like a big part of it. And
so before we wrap up, I have one more question.
perfect.
Favorite consoles, games, what really you remember from your childhood?
Oh, right on. So I grew up with the original Nintendo, and I still absolutely love that system. Exactly, buddy. You're gonna grow up on that too. And so the original Nintendo is my favorite, and Tetris is my favorite game on there. I could play that game for hours. And I own every single game on that system, and Tetris is my favorite.
All right, how about you?
For me, so I did grow up with the NES too, and it's always hard because I always want to like gravitate to that because it's such a wonderful console. But in my head, I just absolutely, I love the Super Nintendo just because it had all the bangers. It had Chrono Trigger, it had Final Fantasy 3, it had Super Mario World, it had Legend of Zelda, and my all-time favorite is Earthbound for that system. It was one of the games that I didn't like it at first, but then I played it and I slowly loved it, and I got into the entire world of it. So I would definitely say Earthbound's my favorite. And I think we actually did a video about how much we love Earthbound. And, or actually, I was trying to get you to play it. Yeah.
How much he loved it and why he wanted me to play it.
Yeah, he's got to play it, yeah. And then I played Tetris, so I can at least, we can have conversations about that one. So,
all right.
Tetris 99, too.
Yeah, those are great picks. I'm a SimCity guy myself.
That's right.
Yeah,
all right, so let's give some contact information. Thank you so much for talking with us. So if people want to come down here physically, where are you guys located?
Yeah, so our store is located in Petaluma, California. The address is 36 Petaluma Boulevard North. In Petaluma, we're right about an hour north of San Francisco. You can also reach out to us on Facebook or Instagram, which is just facebook.com/Nostalgia Alley, or Instagram @Nostalgia Alley. I think we also have a Twitter, but we don't really use it so well.
Yeah, I need to get back on mine. Yeah. Did you have a YouTube channel too?
I did, yeah. So we did. We actually do a lot of collaborations with the store over there. It's it's called 8-Bit Otter, all one word, 8-Bit Otter, and. Yeah, so we typically he usually has like a cool game or like something we want to talk about. We did a Hydro Thunder one, which was really fun, and then we did Earthbound, and then it's cool. There's so much production value in this store. There's so much you can do here, really.
Oh yeah, you can put a camera in any corner, and it's a great studio.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you guys for talking with me. This has been a great conversation. All right, bye bye.
Thank you. Yeah, take care. Have a good one.
Hey everyone, it's Brian. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm coming to you from resultsnutrition.com, results with a Z. And I'm here with Abel, and I put Abel on a meal plan a couple months ago, and he's been working out a long time. He's been a customer of mine for a long time. And we started We started about 21%. And where are you at now, Abel?
I'm down to 17.
Yeah, and how's the food? Is it easy? Is it hard? Give me an idea.
It's a little hard, but the results are worth it.
Yeah, I mean, you've always been putting the time in ever since, what have I known you, like 10 years?
Yep.
Yeah, and you always put the time in, but sometimes the results don't come if you're not eating. So what do you think? I mean, do you suggest a meal plan to other people?
I would.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
Yeah, maximize your time in the gym and get results.
Exactly.
Yeah, cool, man. Well, so anyway, you can go to resultsnutrition.com and click on the meal plan and check it out. I've got some other testimonials on there, and I guarantee you results. You do what I say, I'll get you results.